Hey guys, Cindy over at paper.old.new. Thanks for coming by and spending some time with me today, and God bless you. We are working on a Making with My Mess video. It feels like it's been forever, but I guess last Monday I did have one up. I think this one's going to go up on Monday. Right now when I'm filming this is Sunday evening, so we'll just have to see how it goes. So we are making this little guy. It's a little book. It comes out to be about, it's 6.5 inches tall. So that's what we're going to cut our file folders to. I have 3 file folders here. Actually, I have 4, but well, I say you only need 3. You can make this as thick as you want it. This is another one of those ones that is, if you keep stacking file folders, you can make this book as long as you want it to be. So if you were using it for a particular trip that you knew you had so many photos for, or you were using it for a particular vacation that you knew you had so many days you wanted to write on, or a Bible lesson, or something that you knew you had needed so many pages to journal about, you can make this as long as you want. Now mine came out a little uneven back here, but that's going to be dependent on how well you fold and how good you glue. Which for me, you know me guys, my eyeballs are crooked. Okay, so basically what we're going to do, I don't need 4. And I'm gonna not use the one with the center tab, okay? Because all my little tab things here are flaps that we're gonna add, and we're gonna use the tab pieces to do that. And if I use this one, well, let's see where 6.5 is, because then I would end up with some small tabs, and that might be okay. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. It's going to put me right there. And yeah, I would get a small tab. So basically you want to cut your folder down. You want to cut your folder down to 6.5 inches. Okay, that's where we're going to start. I'm going to start by hiding things from myself because it's my favorite activity. Okay. So we're going to just cut. All right. Look. Okay. Goodness gracious. All right. So that's going to be one of our pieces. This is important, so don't get rid of it. We're going to be using those. All right, now I'm going to cut this to 6.5. Again, like I said, this can be as big or as small as you want it to be. So if you only wanted to do 2, because you have a small project that you wanted to use it for, 1, 2, 3, 6.5. You had a small project that you were working on and you didn't need a big folio, you could just do 2 file folders. That moved. We're not going to talk about it. Okay, and then I'm going to do one more. And I miscounted, so I'm just going to set this one off to the side over here. I'm not going to make it bigger than 3. You'll get the idea when I do 3. If I want to add one to the book later on, I can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. And when we make this, you'll see what I mean. I like this little book. You could also make it taller. So if you wanted it to be a little bit taller and maybe look tall and narrow, maybe you make it all the way over to, maybe you make it 7.5 inches and don't take the tab, or, you know, however you want to make it. I'm just doing it 6.5 by 4.5-ish. Seemed like a good size. Okay, now we are going to be folding these. So I want it to open obviously like a book. So what I'm going to need to do, I'm trying to remember how I did this. Okay, you know what? I don't want to talk about it. I know I'm always saying that. I'm going to reverse the fold of the folder first of all. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold this. And you see how it's not, I didn't fold it all the way. I didn't fold it. I did fold it all the way to the fold. Okay, so we're just going to take this and we're going to fold it all the way out to its fold. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how I did it so that I don't tell you wrong. Okay, so that's our first one. And then for this one, that one goes out past the fold, and I think it's because when you line this up, because this is wider, you know how one side of the file folder is wider than the other? This is your wider side. So it folds to make it fold even, it sticks out. And that's what you want. You want that. So that's okay. Okay. So that's my 2. Yes, that's my 2. All right, now we're going to fold all of our folders like that. All right, and you have to reverse them because you want your short side as your front. And for most of them, the short side is here. And to make it open properly, you need it to open on that side. You need to fold it to this side. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense? If I have this folded this way, this is how a book opens, correct? If I fold this back on itself this direction, then my front flap is going to open backwards. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm reversing the folder and then I'm folding it so that my front flap opens the way it's supposed to. Sorry, it took me a minute to remember that I had to do that. So I wanted to make sure that I made that clear. You have to reverse it so that your short flap is your front. And I mean, as with anything, that's so that you get the look that I got here with the tabs sticking out. If you don't want that, then you make your folds however you want to make them. And then what you have to do is fold again. You want your back fold that you did back here to be even with this back fold. This is supposed to hang over. So you need to make it so that the folds line up, not that the ends line up, which is probably harder, but that's what we're going for here. We want our folds to line up. Okay, so there we have another one. So my back sticks out. All right, so far so good. We're gonna make one more. Same idea. Only on this one I kept a tab. So I don't think I kept any tabs on any of these. All right, so we're gonna have to see how that goes. So let's turn it like we normally did. And then we're gonna fold this. I'm going to fold it so that the tab, I'm going to put this over here to get that other one. We're going to do this the way we're supposed to. Because that's going to throw me, and I'm not. This time we're going to count from this end because this is a top tab or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. All right, so this is our third folder. We're going to cut this one. All right. Now, do like we've done for all the other ones. This will go even with this. And this fold will be even with this back fold. So again, you're not trying to make the fronts even, you're trying to make the back folds come together. All of your back folds being even will make your spine even. Okay, that's the importance of your back folds being even, is they're going to be your spine. Back here, see how they're all stacked together? All right, now, before I glue this together, I want to do any inking or anything like that, sorry, punching or anything like that. So since you've cut this, your rounded corners for your file folder are gone. So we're just going to we're going to redo our rounded corners on all of our ends. You can round the center as well if you want. The center is going to make a pocket. So you're going to be gluing it, and I don't know if you want to round the corners on your pocket or not. The other thing that I think we should do is decide on, and I might just use this guy. Okay, so I'm going to use that to cut a notch. If you're going to be covering the page and you want to wait, this will slip in to the pocket, so I can wait on that. But if you don't think that you're going to be able to cut your notch after it's glued, depending on what you're using, go ahead and cut a notch if you want one now. Okay, got rounded corners on that one, rounded corners on that one, rounded corners on this one. I know, I'm all over the place again. Okay. Now, next step, we're going to take this back area back here, where we're going to make it a top-loading pocket in the center. Okay? So basically you're going to open up your folio piece, and you're going to glue along the folded edge and the bottom. And then you're just going to pinch it together. Okay, and we're going to do this for all three of them to make our little book. So this isn't going to be an accordion. I know the way we folded this, it looks like all the accordion folder file folder things we've made. I say all, like we've made a ton of these, but I mean, we've made quite a few that look like an accordion. Okay, and then you're just going to close that off. All right. Pinch it together real good. Sorry, I'm getting all my glue seepage cleaned up. All right. So that's one. All set. Let's do the other two. And again, you're just going to open it up, and you're going to go along the folded edge. Now, I suppose if you wanted, you could leave one or two of these open in the back. I mean, and sew a signature in or something. I would do it differently for this particular book. I would glue a signature in. So in the style of the Apple Orchard Journal, where you create it so that the pages that you put on the outside of the signature, the outsides of those pages are things that you don't care about. You don't care if they get covered up, you don't care. Or maybe it's the back of scrapbook paper or whatever it is that you don't care about. And then I would glue a signature into here. Sew it like you normally would and then glue it in. Because I think that trying to sew into one of these signatures after you've glued this together, I mean, I don't know if it would work, but I feel like it would be difficult. I suppose you could sew before you glued. Like before I did this step, you might sew a signature in here and then glue everything together, but I don't know how easy that would be. So I think the easiest thing if you were going to do one would be to glue a small signature in. Or you could use that technique where they do the elastic. You could do that. And sometimes these little folio things don't get signatures. People put them together and they add flippy pads and lots of journaling cards and tags, and no signatures go in them. So there's also that option. Okay, all smushed. I am making a mess, and I don't have my glue mat up here. Okay, now we have all of our little pieces. Now, with your small side up, because remember we wanted our front is the small side. So with our small side up, we're going to connect all of these. And basically all you're going to do is you're going to glue your small side. Sorry, you're going to, my back piece is my wider side, right? I can see it sticking out. And you're going to glue it to your small side, and you're going to glue it even. Now the idea here would be, let's see what my, oh no, I have the one, let me do this one. I have one that doesn't match up. See how that matches up? I don't know, do I like that better? The idea here would be to make this flat, because you want to make sure that this gets glued together even the way it's supposed to. And then you're going to make this one a side load pocket, and you're going to glue this together like you would a pocket. So we're going to glue down the sides and across the spine and up the side here. And then you're going to sandwich these two together like this. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use the offset one. So this was one was a top tab and one was a bottom tab, and this has got a little, its little flippy thing there. Okay. But basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to, on the smaller side, because the sides are shorter and I don't have to worry about how high do I glue and all that, I'm going to put all my glue down. And we're going to go all the way around like you would on any three-sided pocket. I mean, on any pocket where you go around the three sides and leave the front open. Okay, and this one's going to be a side load pocket. And this is how you connect your folios. Now you can see that depending on how many of these you make, that's how wide your folio, I mean, that's how big your book is. So if I make 5 of them, then my book is 5 little folio thingies wide, or long, or however you want to say that. All right. Push that down. I want to make sure that my spine is even. And of course, when you cover it and you do all your decorating, more than likely you're going to cover your spine with something. Fabric, ribbon, paper, something. So if it's not exact, it's not going to be that big of a deal. A lot of glue collected back there. Sorry, I want to get this off before it, like, all the stuff that's squeezing out. Just clean it up. Okay, and then make sure that my sides are good. This one was folded crooked, so it's kind of on there crooked. Now, anything that doesn't line up exactly, you can go back and trim with your scissors, right? So I'm not so worried about that. Okay, so that's that. And then we'll glue the last one on. Okay, sorry, I'm getting glue all over my fingers, drives me crazy. So, all right, so again, I'm going to put the glue on the short side so that I don't go, like, I don't try to guess on the tall side how far my folders are going to come up. So I just go ahead and glue on the short side. Just makes it easier. Sorry, obviously all these little tips and tricks. It's stuff that you don't think about until you've done this a couple of times. So if, or that you might not think about until you've done this a couple of times. So, you know, if you're new to junk journaling and you're seeing this, I know all of you who, if I have any old hat people, I'm sure you're looking at it and, you know, this is not news to you. But just a few little tips for our newcomers. Okay, so I'm just trying to line everything up, get everything even. Get glue on my cutting mat. It's all good. All right, let's squeeze out all the excess glue. Like I said, I'm going to stop here with this. Although if I wanted to, I could now take, see, I made this one. This was my prototype, my practice. If I wanted to, I can now take this one and I just take the front short side and I glue it to the back there, and I've doubled my book, because this was made with 6 also. And there I could double my book and make it that much bigger. Uh-oh, I missed I glued one in upside down. Guys. All right, so my glue hasn't taken all the way yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this open at the top, since I glued it in upside down. I think I glued it in upside down. Yeah, I did. Okay, the other ones are open on that end. I was making sure I wasn't, all right, now, there's glue in there, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it out, but I'm going to put glue on the bottom. See, all these little mistakes that we make. The other thing I could do if I, was really worried about it is I can just cut this pocket short. It doesn't have to be the same size as the rest of the book. I mean, remember the first folio we did with the angular pockets? If I wanted to, I could lay this out and I could cut an angle here and get rid of all of that glue mark. So let's do that. I like the idea. So we're going to cut an angled pocket here. I'm going from my edge there, and I'm just eyeballing where I want it to be, but I want it to be straight. So just eyeballing where I want it to be. And I'm just going to cut an angle in here. I don't want it to be too steep of an angle. I just want a shallow, a little shallow pocket angle. So we're just going to cut this off like this. Oops. Well, hopefully I line that back up right. That's a little off, but it'll do. All right, and then now my pocket opens here, and I got rid of the glue mistake that I made. Okay, and I have a little angular pocket in there. Still works, still a pocket, nothing's falling apart. Okay, so in that respect, you can see what kinds of fun things you can do with these. I could go through and make all of these angular pockets. It'd be nice to make them all the same angle, but that probably won't happen with the way I did this, because I didn't measure it or anything, so they might all be different angles. But my point is you can make them all fun, right? So these can be and they can be as thick as you want. So I have 3 folders in this one, and I have 3 folders in this one. And if I glue them together, that's 6 folders, and I've made myself a little book. Now, of course, it's going to get fat when you start adding stuff to it, but you get the idea. This is another one of those ones that you can extend and make it as long as you want. Okay, so having done that, the scraps I told you to hang on to. So this is what we're going to do with these. Now, this little guy, I'm going to make a little flap, and I want it to stick out. So I'm just going to cut it off right about here. And it doesn't have to be straight. I'm probably going to end up covering it up. Okay, do that like that. And I'm going to round this corner here for my folder. And then I'm going to fold this So I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it in here as a flap. And I want it to stick out into that space. So see on this one that I inked, my little flap sticks out into the space between my short flap and my back flap. Okay, so you can see that tab. And we're going to do the same thing here. And you can put this wherever you want. So if I want it to stick out, this bugs me because this is never curved right. That's a little better. Okay, so if I want it to stick out kind of in the middle, or not quite in the middle, or 2/3 of the way up, or, you know, whatever. And then I'm going to put a little crease in it, and I'm going to fold it right about there. All right, just eyeballing it. It's not, you know, doesn't have to be anything earth-shattering. Okay, and then if I put it in here, let's just check it. If I put it in there, where's it going to sit? Yeah, perfect. Sticks out there, and you got like a little tab sticking out of your thing. All right, and all that means is I'm going to glue this into there. And I'll have a little flap in my book. Okay. Sticks right out into the thing. Just making it straight. It looks not straight. So of course that might be because of where I trimmed it, but you get the idea. It also may be because of the way I folded this back here might not be folded straight. That's always a possibility. Okay, so we get that flap in there, and then the other thing we can do is you can always make tab. This one you can cut off and use as a card or save it for something else, however you want to do that. I'm going to make this one, again, stick out into that space. I'm trying to think. Maybe I make this one stick out into that space. And how wide is the book with the space? Of course it is. I'm down here on my 1/8 marks because it's like, it's sitting in between. So we're going to cut it right here. I'm trying to make it the same size, but with the tab sticking out into the space so that I can stick it in one of those side loading pockets and the tab will stick out. That's what I'm going for. A little file folder piece with the tab sticking out the side. And I'm going to round the tab. So you've got a little rounded tab there. You could even cut this one down because of the way it's been shortened. It looks too tall. That's me personally. I'm thinking that. If you don't think that, then okay. So this little side pocket that we make where we glue the short flap to the short front to the tall back. If you stick this in here, that should stick out. Sticks out too far. You know what? I'm gonna cut the tab short. I shouldn't do that though, should I? I'm not gonna cut the tab short because I'll mess that up. I don't know if I need 1/4 of an inch, but that's what we're going to take. Okay, and I'm going to do I forgot to do the rounded corners so that this looks like a little file folder card. And then I'm going to stick this in this pocket. Yeah, and then the tab sticks out there. Okay, so we got a little tab sticking out there, and we got a little tab sticking out here. And of course you can make a card for this. You can stick this booklet in here if you want. I mean, however, just not to waste the pieces. Sorry, I'm not trying to be confusing. I know that's not always successful, but all right. And then I might want another one of those little flippy pieces. in, let's see, this is this book, this is this book. Maybe I do one, there we go. Maybe we'll do one in here. Again, with the tab. That's my fold mark. And I'm going to give myself about an inch to glue down, just to make sure it stays good. Okay, and I'm going to fold it right there on that mark that I made with my finger. Okay, and we're going to make another little flap to go in here. And of course you can glue it in either direction. So maybe I want this one to stick out closer to the bottom. So I'll put this one on this side. And you'll notice that this is not necessarily the same pattern of things that's in the other book. These obviously are customizable, however you want to make them. What's fun about them is if you like all the little tabs and things of the file folder, they kind of keep that shape, okay? They kind of keep with all the little tabs and the fun little pieces and bits and things that we have in a file folder, which makes them fun, okay? All right, and then maybe you could make another, see, I have another one of these because I cut that center folder. So I have another one of these where I'll have a high tab. I could make another card out of it. But you get the idea. And I pulled this little kit that I got. I'm trying to remember who I got it from. I got it on Etsy. I'm pretty sure it's a kit from a store called Berreca Pages, B-E-R-R-E-C-A. I think I'm getting that right. Pages. Anyway, what we're going to do is I was trying to decide which one of these I would want on my cover. So I'm going to make a little mushroom journal. I thought that would be fun. And I was just looking at what I might want to do. I like this one, I think. I like this one, but the mushrooms are faded and the emphasis is on the other plants. So I kind of want to do this guy. And what we're going to do is, this is 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. This is only 6.5 inches tall. So I'm going to cut this to be about 6.25 inches. So I need to take off 2.25 inches. Let's take off an inch at the bottom. That's not an inch, Cindy. Eight and a half inch piece of paper. That's an inch. Where am I going to go? Yeah, that'll be all right. All right. So I'm cutting off all the like framing intricate stuff, but that's okay because if I cut it off at the top, I want to cut it off at the bottom too. All right, and then we're going to go this way and we're going to cut off about 1.25 inches. I think my white gap was bigger. Well, maybe they're the same size, I don't know. All right, so 1.25 inches. It's going to put me right there. Okay. Let's see what we've got. Okay. So one of these will be my cover piece. I'm thinking this one. And I think see how wide this flap is. I need to do it the way I was doing it. Guys, don't pay any attention to me. I'm just kind of faking it as I go. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little over a quarter. So maybe we make it just over 4 inches. All right, I'm going to take this off. Right about here. We're going to go down this framing line. I'm going to keep this inside frame line. Like that. I'm just going to cut that off. Okay. And then I'm going to hope that that gives me enough to keep the other inside frame line. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives me more than enough. Okay, maybe I should have left a little more. We're going to make it, what did I say, just over 4? Only because I'm hoping that'll leave me enough for, yeah, okay. Now, my only issue, of course, is that top corner up there, because it's shaped like the file folder, and I don't know. All right, let's put it up. You know what we're going to do? We're going to put it up even, like this. And I'm going to cut it in the shape of the file folder and see if that makes it I'm always experimenting. I mean, what are you going to do, right? If you don't experiment? All right, so that kind of fits with the curve of the folder. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it and we're going to glue this down. And this is the start of this little journal. Okay? Now, I'm also going to put some I'm probably going to let you go. The idea for these Making with My Messes is that we get the folio, you learn how to make the actual file folder folio, and then I'm trying to give you kind of an idea on how to decorate one. When we get, I will take these, I will carry these over because I intend to finish all of them. They're all going to end up being decorated and finished and all of that. So what I'll end up doing is taking these into picker projects, and what we'll do is we'll have a day where we decorate a folio, or, you know, add things to a folio, or, you know, whatever like that. And of course, the file folders get covered whatever you have that you want to cover your file folders with. I don't, you could paint them. You don't even have to cover them with paper. You could paint them, you could paint on them, you could, I mean, decoupaging would be covering them with paper, but you get the idea. You could make little mini masterboards all over them, just cut scraps up and put them all over them. You could, I mean, whatever you look at this and go, you know what would be a lot of fun to put on there, do it. I mean, the worst, absolute worst thing that happens is you make one of these folios and you go to try to cover it with something and you don't like how it looks, right? I mean, that's the absolute worst that could happen. Okay, and then I have this little, there's my cover for my book, and then I'll go through and I'll make a bunch of these kind of ideas. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. The one thing I did want to do is I made these pages. I cut them onto, I printed them onto like the fronts of legal forms. And then the back is still just the legal form, which I'll mess with accordingly. But I thought maybe I could take this and I could make it so we would want it to be 8 inches this way. I would have to do this with all the pages. Ooh, you know what might be fun? Would be to tear it down. Well, anyway, I'm going to show you what my thought was. No, I don't want to fold it. All right, here's my tearing ruler. Because this is what I would really like to do. Is we're going to tear one of these, and I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to give you an idea of what I meant by... All right, so we'll tear that off. And then that did not tear straight. That's my problem with my tearing ruler, is I have no way of making it straight. I'm no good at the straight thing. And I know the idea is to tear like, okay, I think that straightened it up for the most part. Okay. Now, the idea is to hold down the small and tear the big, right? But whenever I do that, I feel like I cover up the seam and then I can't see what I'm tearing, and it makes it... Okay, I don't want to tear off the bottoms of the mushrooms. Okay, and we're going to put this on this line right here. I suppose I can line this up just like I do any other ruler. Okay, that makes it 6 inches tall. And then we want it to be... Let me see where 8 inches gets me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that tears all of that off. I don't want to do that. If I tear part of that off... I know, I'm supposed to tear the other way, but... Okay, now, let's measure this out to 8 and see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right there. Assuming that this is straight, which it's not. Something got torn crooked because these don't line up, but this is about 8 inches. Sorry, there's a reason for all of that. All right, then I would fold this in half. Now, obviously, I would have more to this. So I would stack my pages, I would get more paper in here. This page and this page, I don't care about, right? So what I would do is I would get my signature together and I would sew it, okay? I would get my signature sewn together. So if this was my signature and it was all sewn and ready to go, I would take it and I would find the spot in the book where I want to put it, say right there. And I would put it in here and I would glue this page to this flap and I would glue this page to this flap, and the signature would get glued into the book, okay, with all your pages sewn to this sheet and then glued down in there like that. And then when you opened it up, you would have, right there, you would have a signature. I wouldn't make it very fat, though. But I hope that gives you an idea of what I mean. That's my idea for this little folio. I think these are great. I'm going to finish this one up. I'll probably get all my pages down to size before we use this in a picker project so that you have an idea, so that that's all done and you don't have to watch me do this again. And yeah, so any of these that we do will get transferred to a picker project, and I hope you guys liked this little folio and we'll give it a try. Remember, as many as you want. however many file folders you want to use. You can make it 5, you can make it 6, you can make it 2. You know, as many file folders as you want to glue together, and this little booklet, you can make it as big as you want. Also, cutting to height is an option for you, however you want to do it. But I thought this was a neat idea with gluing the pockets. And I will see you guys next week with another file folder folio thing, and we'll have some more fun with one of these. And I will talk to you later. God bless. Bye-bye.